Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this presentation of the GCMC's Graduate Club Marketing Guide. First off, my name is Justin Makarevich. I am Deputy Director of Employer Relations at the Graduate Career Management Center. We partner very closely with Zicklin Graduate Clubs because there is so much employer relations involved in club activities. And so we want to support our graduate clubs not only in the student life that they're creating, but also in the interactions they're having with alumni and employers and individuals outside of the Zicklin community. So this guide was put together to help clubs develop marketing plans that fit their club's goals and needs. Being a club leader, especially as a graduate student who's very busy, is not your full-time job. So it still, though, is important that if you are in a graduate club, that you do have a marketing communications plan of action and idea of what it is that you want to do to communicate the activities that you're doing out to students, out to faculty, out to staff, and out to the outside community of Baruch potentially too. So we'll get going here in 1 second. So this marketing guide is available to you in a PDF format. I'm going to go through the pages pretty quickly just to give you an overview, but this is what we'll go through here specifically in our table of contents. So talking about marketing frameworks, newsletters, content development, potentially social media and what that might look like, leveraging the GCMC's communications platforms as well as an opportunity to lift and some of the marketing that you're doing as well, potential analytics, and some final thoughts too. But right off the bat, just understand that what I'm going through here and what we have in this guide are just some suggestions on marketing activities that can help your club communicate successfully. You don't have to do them all, right? Just do the marketing things that your club can successfully execute and do based on the resources you have. Your club may not have that many resources, or your club may have a lot of resources. And by resources, this could involve money from the GSA that you've put into your budget for marketing activities, or also you may have a lot of students who are leaders, and you might be able to put together a marketing team. Or you may have only one person who is able to take on marketing. So again, these are just ideas. Don't feel you have to do them all, and do the things that you know you can execute on. So first of all, when thinking about your club's marketing activities, define clear marketing goals. Maybe you all have a big meeting about what marketing should look like and what marketing things it is that you want to do and what does success look like for you. Determine how often you should communicate out and on what platforms. Think about also if measuring analytics makes any sense, etc. But starting with a marketing framework is really going to encourage intentional marketing activities, prevents potentially over communicating, over posting, and actually also overtaxing your team and adding stress. But it does help your club's activities in general if you have a marketing framework. In these next two slides, and I won't go over everything, but we do talk about promotional engagement-driven content, which is usually about getting RSVPs, getting comments, clicked, etc., and then informational-driven content. So you might want to, for example, create content that's just delivering information to your club members, which is also a value add. So read some of these things too. This is just a visual of that as well. Understand also who your audience is really important in a marketing context. So catering to different communication styles of your audience is really important. This could be, for example, do we do a newsletter? Does social media make sense for our audience? Do blogs and maybe even podcasts and creating these types of content, does that make sense for our audience as we know our audience to be? You can always survey your audience to see how they want to be communicated in various ways. Or you might just really know your audience being students yourselves and being part of your club. But the key takeaway here is that you want to understand how to communicate to your key audiences. So if there's one marketing campaign or marketing strategy that your club can handle or should have, we always suggest to make it a newsletter that you send out to your database, A, and then B, with consistent frequency. So again, the newsletter that you send could be something where you are reminding students about upcoming activities, or deadlines. Maybe there's some content you want to put in the newsletter, whatever that might be. But a newsletter in itself, going into the inbox of the recipients, students, etc., shows that the club is active, it's organized, and it's also offering value around what the club is doing. So that's where the B, consistent frequency, makes sense. Just that could be once a week, that could be once every other week, that could be once a month, that could be, maybe every other month, whatever that is, just commit to sending that newsletter to your database, and to your target list so that it shows that there is active work being done by the club. On this slide, there's some newsletter content tips, and we'll go into also additional content tips as well about creating content versus repurposing content, because not everybody has the time to create content, but these are some examples that you could put into a newsletter. One of the biggest parts about newsletters that we find with graduate clubs, that oftentimes misses the boat and lacks, is remembering a strong call to action in newsletters that you sent out. So be clear and tell members exactly what you want to do in newsletters that you send out. Is it to register? Is it about an event? Is it to RSVP? Is it to apply to something? Is it to attend something? Is it to click here or to read more? Oftentimes, clubs will send out newsletters or updates, and they've completely left out the call to action, and then they have to send repeat emails because they forgot the link or the register link, etc. So be sure that you understand where your calls to action have to be in the newsletters that you send out. Here's some sample club and GCMC newsletters, campaigns that may be formats that work for you. In the next couple of slides here, knowing what the difference is between a newsletter that you send out with consistent frequency versus individual emails that might be sent out randomly about a specific event that you want to get RSVPs about or give additional promotion to one specific thing. But be careful then, again, sending too many emails may not be the best experience for your recipient. So whether that works for your marketing strategy. That's two slides here about sending individual emails. And here are some examples and tips for individual email sends. So again, if you're going to commit to say having, a newsletter, you've got to have a database. And maybe your club already has a historic database of recipients. But creating and maintaining a database specifically for sending out communications is really, really key. And you can keep it simple. A spreadsheet can serve as a basic database. You can gather the important information that you need your database to have, and all of that information. And remember that if your club wants to grow your database, the GCMC is always happy to send an email to enrolled students to help you grow your database list. So that's really important too. Talked about creating original content versus repurposing content. So again, these are some tips on creating original content. Read through it if there are ideas that kind of come out, but there are opportunities here for your club members to be content creators in various ways. Your club also, with newsletters, can focus on repurposing existing content. So there's no reason sometimes to create additional content. You could always repurpose existing content that's out there. So there might, for example, be articles that you just want to summarize and then click through to for students. You could bundle different content around themes that might make sense too. You could Maybe there's old content that your club created that you want to repurpose and share again, because even though you shared that maybe 2 or 3 months ago, there's no reason why you can't share it again. So again, just think about also where you can repurpose existing content versus having create new content. On the next slide is about event promotions and creating events and creating checklists for your events. So read this in some detail, and if you have any questions, always reach out to us. And then also marketing your events too. One big thing about your club as well that you might want to invest in if you haven't already is potentially setting branding and marketing guidelines. So you can use, for example, Canva to create your club's color guides, logo guides, fonts, tone, etc. So these are things that you could potentially use as well if you want to be focusing on creating sort of a branding guide for your club. You can customize also on Canva a brand kit and really customize design elements. There is a fee to this, and so if you want to try it out, it's quite possible you could see if the GSA would be able to let you include this in a budget to help your club create a brand and customize brand design. These are some examples of information for making promotional images that might go on social, etc. So again, there are things that are really important here. While it may seem obvious, sometimes they do get left out. But event date, time, location, or virtual. Again, an urgent call to action as well. I'm telling students what to do and how they can do things. So that's really important to develop too. When it comes to social media, it really is up to you about which social media platforms make sense for your audience. Is it Instagram and LinkedIn and X, or is it just one or two, or is it a different platform too? Again, all of this takes time, so assess what really, really works for your club if you're going to use social media. If you do use social media, one thing that you could potentially think about doing is booking your content through Hootsuite. So there are platforms that are out there too. If you don't have a website, one thing that clubs do oftentimes is use LinkedIn groups to have their quote unquote website. But other clubs are also using Linktree. That could be something that makes sense for you. And we've seen clubs also increasingly be using WhatsApp and WhatsApp communities and groups to communicate more effectively out to members. Talked about Hootsuite and social media scheduling tools. And the next couple of these two slides talk about how to actually then post content and then get it scheduled to go out. This slide talks about what WhatsApp communities and group chats, how you can get those started if you don't know already, and Linktree. One thing we really want to encourage all of the clubs to do is to leverage the GCMC's platforms, again, to amplify the marketing messages that you're already putting out. So again, you can post messages in the GCMC LinkedIn group that can go out to all the GCMC LinkedIn group members. We're happy to post, for example, on our GCMC blog, any information or content, maybe even member highlights, etc. Happy to post that on there, which you can then use to also further promote. And then we also have our podcast. If you want to potentially be on the podcast in some format, just reach out to me. There's my email on the slides. If you have any questions or ideas, then you can reach out to me about leveraging these platforms. As we're going into analytics and CRM tools, again, this is even further marketing activity that may work for your club, but it also may not. These takes time. But there is an ability here within your marketing activities to sort of track engagement, looking at your posts, how much reach you're getting, et cetera, and then making adjustments to your marketing as well. Again, this does take time, but this could be part of your strategy too. That's the end of the presentation. Again, for final thoughts, just want to reiterate here specifically that, again, these are just suggestions for you. So do the marketing things that your club can successfully do and successfully execute based on the resources you have. You don't have to do any or all of these, just what you're able to do. If you have any questions, want to bounce off ideas, contact me, Sid Giller, and or Taylor Don Ellis as well on the employer relations team through their emails and through our emails, or you can always email us at zicklin.gcmc@baruch.cuny.edu if you want to get in touch with us at our main line. Again, huge thanks for all you're doing in your club leadership roles. It makes a huge impact on the Zicklin graduate community, and we are here to support you in any way possible. So thank you again. If you have questions, just reach out to us at any time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.